Okay. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to this week's Seminole session brought to you by Seminole County Council PTA. We are very excited to be hosting today's training session with special guests from Seminole High School. We have Miss Danisha Rivera, who is an ESOL teacher, and one of the classes she specifically teaches is Latinos in Action. We are also accompanied by Jose Colon, who is the Seminole High School LIA, as we use the acronym for class president. So we are so excited to have our special guest with us as we talk about Hispanic heritage and hope and how we can partner as PTAs with our Hispanic communities to advance our diversity, equity, and inclusion, or as you will often hear me say, DEI efforts. Specifically in Seminole County, because that's the schools that we immediately serve, but nonetheless, this information is relevant beyond Seminole County Council. So we are so excited to have our guest speakers here today. And I want to first informally welcome Miss Danisha Rivera. If you can give everyone another quick wave. And Jose Colon. Thank you. Mil gracias por estar con nosotros. 1,000 thanks for being with us today. So, Ms. Rivera, what is LIA? ¿De qué se trata LIA? We have both speakers in the house today, but we certainly understand that we are Hispanic, somos Hispanos, and so we do oftentimes go back and forth. So if there's something that is better expressed in Spanish, in all confidence, go ahead and you.
Question: am I able to share?
Yes.
Okay. So let me just open the presentation over here so I could guide myself because I don't want to miss anything.
Okay.
Are you able to see?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Okay. Okay, so let's get this party started. Okay. So hope for a better inclusive educational system. That's what we are hoping for. This is us. It's me. I am the Latinos in Action ESOL teacher, and this is Jose, our president of the class. He's been the president 2 years consecutive. He was chosen by his peers. He has a great leadership skills, so he is he's going to be a prominent leader in our future here at Seminole. We think that he's probably going to be our mayor or our governor or something like that. Okay. This is part of our class. We just wanted to show you a little picture of part of the students of the class and of the things that we're doing. What is Latinos in Action? So Latinos in Action it's a program, a class that was invented or founded by our Jose Enriquez, Dr. Jose Enriquez. That was 20 years ago, 2001. And he created this class because he wanted to have Latinos have a forum and wanted to have Latinos to be developed as leaders. So we have 4 pillars. One of this is the personal asset. The other one is excellence in education, the service, and the leadership. I'm not going to talk about it that much because Jose will be talking about the different committees, and those are practically guided by these pillars, okay? But you can have an idea of what it is. A little bit of Latinos in Action. This is our mission, what you see at the top. It's to empower Latinos and to strengthen the community through college and career readiness. We want them to be ready for the real world. And sometimes we think that Hispanics are not being guided or leaded to be at the top where we want them, because we want them also to be over there at the top because they have the capacity. So right now we have in Latinos in Action, we have 12 states that have the program, over 200 schools, and the graduation rate, which is the most interesting part about this program, is that it's a 98% of the students that are in Latinos in Action are graduating from high school, and about 90% of them graduate college. They follow them. So this is amazing, and this is what we want our kids to not only just think about and I'm not saying it's good or bad. A lot of them just have this mentality that I only can be a barber, or I can only be a hairstylist, and it's okay to be that. I'm not saying that, but I want them to see the broader picture that there are other alternatives that you can also achieve, or you can also pursue. Okay. So I'm gonna leave first Jose, and then I'm gonna talk later. So Jose, take it up. This is yours.
It's my time to shine.
Yes,
Okay,
it's time, your time to shine. Rock it.
Okay, so hello everybody. For those who haven't met me or haven't heard of me yet, Jose Colon, obviously. I think it's somewhere in the bottom, I should say. But pretty much what Ms. Rivera left off, there's 3 committees in Latinos in Action. There's a professional committee, there's a service committee, and there's a social committee. The professional committee focuses on finding scholarships and professional advice from outside communities or outside companies, you know, from people who are entrepreneurs in the community, or somebody who can help our students, you know, view the professional world outside of the class, so we can, you know, get an idea of what it's like to, you know, be in the real world, you know, how to, like, for example, how to create a company, how to find jobs, how to find scholarships, how to apply for colleges. So all that type, like that, all that falls into the category of professional committee. Now, the service committee focuses on serving the community by activities as charity, you know, like charity. We donate to, for example, last year we donated to a seniors, what's the term, Ms. Rivera?
A senior citizen daycare.
Yep. So we donate to the community, and the service committee just focuses on serving the community. Now, the social committee focuses on the integrity, on being able to do activities that strengthen the group community. I mean, the group's integrity and communication.
Okay. So these are some of the things, highlights that we had this year. We started strong. We've been in the news already twice, which is awesome because we're making lots of noise, and I love that. We celebrated the Hispanic Heritage Month in our school that for about 10 years had not been celebrated. So it was something new. We also talked about our program in the news and Fox 35. So they highlighted that too. And we're working in a partnership with Officer, oh my God, I forgot his name. He's gonna kill me. Okay, so it's one of the officers here in Seminole County, which he's a Hispanic leader. And he is going to be, we're going to be partnering with him to do many different activities. So he also highlighted us in the news. Okay. So before we keep going, we want you all to follow us on Instagram because we need that hype. We need people to follow us on Instagram and share what we're doing, and just follow us and hit those like and little hearts that those kids like, because they're always looking at to see how many hearts do we have. People love what we did, and they're always talking about it. So we want to encourage them to continue. Okay, so that's our
I'm sorry, Ms. Rivera, I don't want to interrupt you, but I also want to add that if you guys would please share this with some friends, basically by giving us a follow and sharing it with some friends, that opens opportunities for us to, you know, be recognized by, you know, possible sponsors. So you're helping us by following us and sharing to friends and giving us likes. You're helping us without spending any sort of money. So thank you.
Okay, so Jose, try to find your signal. Okay. Okay, the future is bright when we have conversations. So I love this, that we're having this conversation and the forum is open. And we're going to open the forum later on for questions, and we will answer them. First, I want you to know who I am. My name is Danisha Rivera. I am a Puerto Rican. I've been here in the United States only for 4 years. I am not only going to be talking to you as a teacher, as an ESOL teacher, but also I'm going to be talking to you as an ESOL mom. Because the kid that you have right there, the one in the to the left, yeah, to the left, he is an ESOL student. He's an ESC student. He is a Seminole High School student. So I believe in the public school system. I believe in what we're doing And I also wanted to have the forum to talk as a mom. What was my experience when I got here 4 years ago? That, like I always say, we were blown by a hurricane. We did not expect to be here, but things happen and we're here and we are seeking a better future for our family. And we also want to talk about that. I want to talk about it as a mom. Okay, so let me move this thing because it's blocking me. Give me a second. Okay, so there are some misconceptions that I wanted to go over. A lot of misconceptions about our Hispanic is that generally that parents don't care, that parents are not responsible, that parents don't really want to be engaged in school. That's what I get from a lot of the teachers when I talk to them. And I just wanted to say that that is not right. As a Hispanic, okay, as a Hispanic, we want to be engaged in our children's education. We want to be there and we feel that we are responsible. However, in our culture, we believe that the teachers are the ones who know. The teachers are the experts. So a lot of the times when Hispanic people come from other countries, especially in South America, they believe that the teacher is the know-it-all. So they want to leave education to them. It's not that they don't want to be part of. However, I have seen, let me see if I can go. I don't know why this is blocked. I can't forward it. Give me a second. I'm going to stop sharing and I'm just going to talk from my heart because this is not getting me. I'm so sorry.
What's wrong? Is it just frozen?
The computer just froze. The whole thing. I can only see one side. Give me a second.
Okay.
Okay, there we go. Forget it. I took it out.
All right. Yeah, I turned it off and it's back on if you want to try again. If not, you're free, feel free to speak.
It's okay. It's okay. I'll talk from the heart. So sometimes we believe that the parents don't want to be engaged, but that's not right. That's not true. We do want to be engaged. However, when you get to a country where everything is totally different, not in Puerto Rico, even though it is part of the United States and we are not immigrants, and I want to play it out there, whoever doesn't know that, we are United States citizens, but Puerto Rico is totally different in terms of education. I was talking to somebody yesterday and I was telling them I never had the fear of being shut inside a school because we leave our doors open, like constantly. Our schools are open. Everybody goes in and everybody respects the child's area and nobody goes in and just disrupts, okay? So we have that, and parents go in school, and I had parents even knock on my door while I was teaching and say, "Maestra, excuse me, I want to know what he was supposed to be doing because he didn't do it yesterday. Can you explain it to me?" And sometimes that is acceptable in our culture. It is not acceptable here. So when a parent comes into a Seminole or a United States school and they go and they tell them you have to go through the office, then you land in the office, and once you're there are two people that are greeting you, but the majority of them don't speak English. Let's get this real. The majority of our receptionists in our schools don't speak Spanish. So if we don't have anybody that could speak to them, that's right there. That's a shock. That's a block. So a mom would go and say, ¿alguien me puede ayudar? And I would automatically see, because I've seen it, because I help my ESOL, all my ESOL parents, I see sometimes rolling of eyes, just having that, oh, here comes the person that doesn't speak my language. And you would see that demeanor of sometimes of the receptionist, and that just blocks them from coming back. Because if they don't find anybody there, they will not come back because they have not been welcomed. Parents, sometimes they're looking for, I think about a week ago, I was at the office and a mom came in. The kid is not an ESOL student, but she is a Hispanic. We have a lot of parents that have been here in the United States. They have their kids here. Their kids don't speak Spanish, but the only language that they speak is Spanish. So once they go into the office, she was asking for help for college applications for her child. If a mom comes to the office and is asking for college applications, do you think they really are into their child's education? They are into it. So she was asking for it and nobody could help her. By luck, I was there at the office and I helped her a little bit, but I saw how people were like telling her, you have to go into your email. We sent already the information through email. And the mom's looking at me like, I don't even know what she sent. They're all sending me emails in Spanish. So that is something that we have to look into. What is the communication that we're having with this parent? How are we taking this communication to them? Are we translating everything? And I know that the ESOL department, they do a fantastic job of translating a lot of the things that go through their school. But you know what? There are some communications that go from each school individually that are not being translated. There are some communications that are very important, like due dates. We have seniors that have due dates, and they're coming to me telling me, teacher, when do I have to take the picture? And I'm like, oh my God, it was like up to last week. I'm like, oh, I didn't know, because they're not reading their articles. I mean, sorry, I'm thinking about what I'm teaching. They're not reading the emails. They're not reading what they're being sent. And sometimes we believe that they're 17, 18 years old, and they should know because they're almost adults. But you know what? They're not adults. They still need to be guided. And sometimes if you do it in their own language, and if the parent knows about it, they could actually have a follow-up. But our kids are not having a follow-up because of those situations. I wanted to ask, Jose, are you here? Is Jose here?
If you can hear me, yes, I am here.
Okay, Jose, I wanted you to give me a little bit, because we had talked about it before, a little bit about the situation of how when your mom came to the United States and things that have happened in schools here with her. Because at least I speak English, I could defend myself, I go around, but what happened to your mom? Can you tell us a little bit?
Well, when I first came to the United States, I was in 6th grade, and I had my grandpa, and he spoke English, so he'd help us with the process. But once we were enrolled in school and I was in 6th grade, it was very stressful for us to keep up with what was going on in school. For example, there was a lot of parent nights, and my mom used to be really involved in them in Puerto Rico, and she'd always ask me, oh, like, are you having any meetings with your teachers? I'd like to, find out a way to go talk to them and find out a little bit more about the school. And me back then, I didn't really know anything. I didn't even know I had a school email or any of that. So I was very lost and I was confused. And if I didn't know, then she would know less. And we tried to go to school, and we went to the front office in Sanford Middle School. And there was no one who could speak Spanish that was available at the time. There was a dean, but it was after school hours and he already had left. So we were out of touch with school, and it was very stressful because we were lost, and we were just like, it felt like we were just thrown in a wide ocean, and everybody, was already going with the flow with the current, and we were just stuck in the middle, and we didn't know what to do.
Mm-hmm. So, how can we as parents, as teachers, how can we help to increase the parent involvement in our schools? So one of the things I think that Hispanics, we're emotional. We're very emotional. We're also very people-oriented. We want to be with people. So once we're over here and we see ourselves alone in this country, we isolate ourselves because we don't know how to cope with it, or we try to reach out. Some parents that are very outgoing would reach out, but that's probably 4 parents out of my whole 100 students that I have right now that have reached out to say, I am here to help. What can we do to make them more engaged? One of the things that I always thought about is first having someone in front office that speaks that speaks Spanish. Either the receptionist or anybody in the main office, somebody should speak Spanish, at least to feel them welcome. We also believe that every single thing that is sent by the school should be translated into Spanish. And somebody would tell me, oh, but there's other languages spoken also. In terms of when we're testing, the ESOL department has translated all those things that they need for as a letter for parents in all the different languages that we speak over here. But if we look at the statistic right now in Seminole High School, we are at a 26% Hispanics. We have, last year was like a 2021. So that means we're growing by the year at a 5%. So we have a lot of Hispanics in our schools and in the Seminole County. If you look at it, it's growing. So we need to have the person that speaks Spanish. We need to have a bilingual counselor. I am an advocate to having at least a bilingual counselor, and all the children that come in that don't speak English should have a bilingual counselor that could understand them, that can talk to them. A lot of them are using Google Translate to help them, but I think that if you have that person, that at least you have that in school where they welcome you and guide you towards having a better education, we will have these kids be more successful. We should ask the parents for their preferred language, and we do. When they enroll their children, they mark what is their preferred language. However, it is not being respected because a lot of the parents are getting the calls and they're getting them in English. So what do? They get scared, they hang out. They don't even pick up the phone because it says SCPS. So we need somebody to be calling those parents in Spanish. If they mark that they don't speak English, we should respect that. It's not that we're going to be calling them every single time. It's like 3 or 4 times a year that we give them a call. So why not give that call in English? I mean in Spanish. We also can create Spanish language only parent gatherings. I believe that they want to express themselves. They want to talk about what's going on, but we're not giving them the forum for them to speak in their language. So I believe that we should give them a forum where we deal with these meetings in Spanish so we can clarify any doubt that they have about the educational system. We should have a parent liaison. I have a mom that's going to be helping me this next semester to be calling parents and letting them know about different things that we're doing because they don't know about it. So we're going to have these parents that if every school has a few parents that could help them out, call out parents, that could also work. Finding resources and materials to use in the classroom. I always tell the teachers when they ask me, you know what, it's a matter of at least showing the kid that you care. So if they don't understand, you know, I translate what they need to know so that they feel accepted. I understand, and as an ESOL teacher, I am an advocate for them taking the SAT, the ACT, and all of that in English because that is something for college. But when we're talking about content area and we want our kids to learn, why not translate something so that they can learn something and not just pass looking at the sky thinking, what am I doing here? Because a lot of them don't even understand what they're doing because teachers are not translating. So I always advocate for that. In terms of reaching out for PTSA, when Minnie visited our classroom, it was funny how she asked the kids, do you guys know what PTSA means? And how many kids answer, Minnie? How many kids, just one said what they thought they knew a little bit, maybe, because that was it. I think, I maybe, so it's not even one, okay? When I got here, I knew about what PTA was because over there in Puerto Rico, we call it PTA, but it's not in our public school system. It's because I used to work in a private school and they had the PTA. But the PTA was very different from what you guys have over here, because over there was the ones that planned the party, the ones that planned the graduation. That was PTA, parent involvement inside the school. That's it. But I didn't know what PTSA was. So when they approached me, my kid was at Millennium, and they said, okay, it's $10 to be part of the PTSA. And I'm like, why? Why do I have to pay $10 when I don't even know what you're going to give me? So that's the Hispanic mentality. Like, what am I going to get out of those $10? So maybe we should be writing a little bit of what am I going to give them that it's attractive. So if you tell them, oh, we will have some Spanish involvement. Like I was talking yesterday with Dr. Rodriguez, my director, my principal, and we were talking about how for the PTSA, maybe there should be a bilingual engagement committee. Maybe if you guys do a bilingual engagement committee where you have parents that speak Spanish that reach out and try to get those parents to be more involved and telling them the benefits that they have by being in the PTSA. I didn't know until Minnie told me that my kids, my ESOL students, could apply for scholarships. I didn't know that. That's a great thing to tell them. You know what? They could apply to a scholarship where they can start their college career here in Seminole State College, because a lot of them are going there. So that would be something that a parent would say, oh, definitely, I'm going to give you the $10. Let's do this. Okay. So just tell them, not the idea of just, oh, we're going to give candy to teachers. That's awesome that you guys do. But as a parent, they don't, yeah, sure, candy for teacher. I'll buy the candies. I'll send them the candies because they feed me constantly. Okay. So it's not about that. So I want my parents to know what are the real benefits of being part of the PTSA, which I did not know until I started talking to Minnie. And that was me being here for 4 years and me speaking English. I have not received anything from the PTSA as a parent in my emails that says we want you to be part of us. So maybe you can look into that. How are we reaching out even through email to the ones that do look at emails? Because we have Hispanics that do look email, but I had never received anything from it. So maybe we could start doing that. Is there any questions up to now? I feel like I'm talking too much.
Oh, I think this is amazing. And I'm so thankful for your candidness, both of you and Jose, to just give us this immersion experience, at least in conversation. I think as a PTA leader, and this is an open forum too, so if you'd like to raise your hand and ask questions, both Ms. Rivera and Jose are prepared to engage us PTA leaders along this way. So just raise your hand if you have any questions. But I'm so thankful, Ms. Rivera, for the tangible ways, right? Because we've summoned PTA leaders, and we're in it for the kids, because I explained to the classroom of 20 plus kids that 0% knew what PTSA was. And one of the questions that I asked him was, how long do you think the PTA has been in action? And I said, just give me a number, somewhere like 10 years. And one was a little bit more generous, 20, at least 20 years. And I was like, 120 plus years. So far greater and far longer than what these babies, as I say, with much love in my heart, have even been alive. Far greater. We've had these saints, these moms that have really been advocating, as I say often, for the lunches and the bike safety helmets and seatbelts. And now, fast forward 120 plus years, we have kids who really need help just understanding. Like literally just the basic, how do I fill out this form? Help me explore these opportunities. And so I find this training just so incredibly relevant for right here, right now, because we're at this crossroad. And one thing that I hear you saying, Ms. Rivera, that I'm taking away, and I want to just kind of get a megaphone and say, our students need PTA to really serve as a bridge.
Right.
I hear opportunities for welcoming committees, right? Like some way, somehow, we really need to strengthen the ties within our schools, because we have this amazing opportunity to kind of wait for them in the car line to say bienvenidos, and let them know PTA is here to help them in partnership with the school's efforts to make their child's potential a reality.
So now that you're saying that, since I am an ESOL teacher, I take care of my kids. And I know that all the ESOL teachers here in Seminole County, they do take care of their kids, our ESOL kids, they're our babies. But I'm worried about the Hispanic kids that are not even in ESOL, because like the one I was talking to you about, the mom that came to the office asking for college information and stuff like that. The mom did not speak English. The girl is not in ESOL. So how are we helping this Hispanic community that it's not in ESOL? Because I take care of my kids. What's happening with all these other kids that are out there that parents want to be involved, but yet they can't because there's nobody to help them. We have ESC students. My son is an ESC student. you know what? I have sat in the ESC committee when they're talking about my kid and they're talking all these stuff and they're speaking English. And I'm looking at them, I'm like, if I'm not a teacher, I wouldn't understand what they're saying. Imagine when they translate it, they try to translate it, but sometimes the translations are not right when they're doing it in the same committee. If it's an ESOL student, I am there at the committee and I get to translate and explain to the parents what is going on. But a lot of times they don't have that for all the other Hispanics. So that's what I'm worried about. Not only my ESOL, because I know that our ESOL kids are being taken care of. We take care of them. But what about all the other kids that moms don't speak and then they're lost in translation because mom cannot push them harder or cannot get them to the next level just because she is not able because of language.
Absolutely. Jose, if you're available to hop back on, would you be able to describe the makeup of your classmates, your colleagues that are in this year's LEA class, if he's still there, if not, Ms. Rivera? Because one of the things that
I'm sorry. Yes, I just wanted to clear that I am here. I'm sorry, continue.
No, so one of the things that I walked away with that I was most impressed with when I visited your classroom a few weeks ago was the variety amongst the Hispanic students, right? Out of, I think there were 21-ish or so, 22 students. And I said, how many of you were born in the United States? And there were only 5. There were only 5. So Jose, for the PTA leaders that are here, could you tell us briefly, what are the experiences of your fellow classmates? If they're not born in the United States, like what countries are they representing? And what are their experiences? Where do you feel that they would need the most support? Now understanding a little bit better that the PTA is an advocacy group and we're gathering these leaders to listen to your experience and see where we can help fill in the gaps. What is something, as you represent your LEA class, what are some things that you really want us to take away into consideration as we plan within our local units to help support the Hispanic students?
All right, so thank you. I've been very anxious to talk. Ms. Rivera, you have some amazing points and I support everything you said so far. And thank you again for the opportunity. So our class, Latinos in Action at Seminole High School, there's a lot of, there's a huge difference in every single student as we all come from different backgrounds, some harder than others, but we all have our same story. Now, I know I personally, as a president, I get attached to each one of these students because I like to go and talk and know about their stories and connect deeply with them so I can understand where they come from and I can understand how to approach each student because each of us have a different story. We all come from somewhere and for me, it's fascinating knowing how every life can be a movie. So responding to how these students can be helped. I've noticed that a lot of the students most of the time are lost, as in whenever they come to school, they don't have anybody to go to. They're just thrown in with the rest and you just gotta follow along. And I think that it would be amazing if we can start having counselors, like each for example, in our school at Seminole High School, there's counselors depending on last names, but I would like that each Latino student would have at least one counselor that can speak Spanish as an alternative. And if that student needs a specific help in specific type of help, and normal counselor just isn't there with the language, and the language barrier is, that's where like most of the issue is. It's basically communication and the lack of Spanish representatives in school. I would love if we could have counselors that can speak Spanish so these students can have the courage to go up to the front office and ask for somebody to help them. Because most of the time, myself included, when I come into a little problem in school, I tend to stress a lot because I know I can't talk to my mom so she can help me fix the issue, because she wouldn't know who to approach. She wouldn't know how to even book an appointment, because in our school, if I want to see a counselor, I have to book an appointment via email. So I would love if there was some sort of Spanish representation or counselor that could get these students that are lost and confused and scared most of the time, make them feel comfortable, make them feel at home, make them feel like there's somebody watching over them. And that way they can feel more confident, and they can start being more successful in school and being able to have more of an idea of what's going on in school and what's going on around with them and their education, and their, they can start worrying about their future. So to conclude everything, I believe that we should start implementing more counselors that are able to speak with these students.
Thank you, Jose. Thank you so much. I see that our district ESOL director has also joined the call, and I'm so thankful for that. She may or may not be my favorite participant because we share the same name.
It's written differently.
I know.
I feel attacked. I thought I was a default favorite.
You're my favorite student. What's fascinating in all of this, and again, just to reiterate, my PTA brain is just firing off, and also my mom brain, because I just have a heart for kids, whether I know you or not. What's interesting is I called Shelly quickly after meeting Ms. Rivera, your Leah kids, and I was like, oh my God, Shelly, right? I think of them often, and I wish them continued success. And even myself as a PTA leader, I'm like, it's time that we move from wishful thinking to concrete action steps. And so this is an open invitation too for any participant on this call. If your school, if your PTA has found a niche with which to connect with your Hispanic families, again, this is to complement the work that's being done already, supported by the county. But the PTA, like, this is what this entity is about. It really is about advocating for the students. It really is about connecting with our families. I expressed to Ms. Rivera and even to Jose, like the fact that we have a teacher on this call and a student and the PTA, like this is as good as it gets, because this is what the PTSA stands for. And so I love that there's tangible ways for us to involve the parents, to involve the students, to not just let the voices be heard, but to strategize and say, okay, if college and career readiness, right, if there's an opportunity for the PTAs to continue supporting the efforts in the school, then that's a great opportunity. If it's the welcome, bienvenidos a casa, right, activities and atmosphere, because I know the ambiente, as you use the word, the atmosphere, it's really big within the Hispanic culture. If you don't feel welcome from the first bet, it's going to be a challenging journey to solidify that. So what would you say to our non-Hispanic PTA leaders, to those of us, even Hispanics that don't speak Spanish or don't navigate Spanish fluently? I stumble a lot, right? You saw that in the classroom. They pardoned me and they were like, don't worry, speak in English. They translated for me. True story. But what would you say to our non-Hispanic, non-Spanish speaking PTA leaders that really have a heart to support, but maybe we have a language barrier? So how can we bridge that gap amongst PTA leaders?
I believe, like I told you, if you guys make some sort of committee that has to do with bilingual engagement, and you select from the PTSA group people that speak Spanish, that could be an advocacy group and reach out for parents, and probably have a representative for each school. And maybe that parent that speaks Spanish could be also the one that will be helping in translation when there are meetings, or translating anything that the school wants to translate. Because I know that the ESOL department translates for the whole county. but I know that there are some communications that go out from each school that they don't even reach the ESOL department because they're telling them when are the due dates for all the seniors, or when do the juniors have to do this. Those little things, maybe if we have somebody that could be translating those communications and sending them out in Spanish, that would be a great big deal. Anything that is, I believe also, and I don't know if the pages, I believe the pages are not in Spanish. So there should be some little button, because I've seen it in other pages and in the internet, where you click and it says for Español, and then the whole web for the school changes in Spanish. If that is done for each of our schools, then probably when the parent goes in and they touch the little thing that says Español, they could read in their own language, and then probably a lot of the barrier could be diminished. So maybe as a PTSA, you could advocate for that, to having all the webs that could change into Spanish, and having somebody that speaks Spanish from the PTSA and be the helper in translation, or even in meetings. Sometimes they don't even find somebody to translate because everybody's busy, and there's so many Hispanics and we have very little translators. So maybe some of the ones that speak Spanish in the PTSA could serve as translators for different meetings.
I think those are great small steps. Please feel free, any guest on this call, to either raise your hand, just a quick reminder, or to even put your questions in the chat. And if Ms. Cardona, if you are available, because I had the awesome opportunity to speak with her this morning, I asked if I can share a county resource with the PTA leaders, just to know if there's a PTA event that is going to be sponsored at the school with the school, and translation help is needed, we as PTA units are able to partner with the district ESOL department and seek translation. And I think that's something that's really, really powerful, because when we think, where do I go? We look in, we look in. And so if Ms. Cardona is on the call and able to jump on and maybe share a little bit more, so that the PTA leaders can have a better understanding of what that process would look like. I think she unmuted herself. Hi, Ms. Cardona.
Yes, good evening, everyone. First of all, I want to say thank you to our wonderful student from Seminole High School. That was amazing. I listened to you, and so proud of the students from the Latinos in Action class. Jose, you did a great job, and Mrs. Rivera, and I think this is a wonderful forum, what you guys are doing. In Seminole County, I will share that, yes, our Hispanic population has grown. We were 2%, I remember when I started in this district, and now we are 24% Hispanic students in our district. So yes, we have had a significant increase in our top countries, just so everyone would know, from the Hispanic community right now, because I do queries every week to see where the students are coming from. From the Hispanic community is Venezuela, Puerto Rico, Colombia, and Guatemala, in that order. The students that are coming from, those are the top 4, top 5. The 5th one is India. We have an influx of students coming in from India right now to our district. So we are this rich, diverse district with 103 different countries and 113 different languages. For the translations, we do provide, we have just for everybody to know that we have a translation bank in the district where dividends sign up, and we do have a list of volunteers from the community. So when we do have those requests for different meetings at the schools, we are able to provide a volunteer, or I do have a contract with a interpreter service company where the school calls the 800 number and a live person comes up at the other end. They could have a 3-way call with whatever language they need assistance with. So we have several interpreter and translation services in place for the schools. We also assist with the documents, and not only from the ESOL department, I have other subcontract folks outside of the district that help out with the translation. So when they ask, and that's the number one thing that I am always advocating for, we need to have this in the target languages in the building, right? So the students and the families know what's going on. When we went on remote with the pandemic, I want to say I was very proud. Everything went out in Spanish and even went out in Chinese. We went our top languages, and Chinese was one that was really a lot of requests for, so we did also included Chinese. But anybody that wants to help out with translations, and I know PTSA, you guys are awesome. I've worked with many of the PTSA parents in different schools. They assist us too, but if you are a dividend and you're on our list, that's where we first go to. We go to that dividend list to help us with the translations and interpreters out in the community, in the schools. And we have been very fortunate, but sometimes we might get stuck with the other different dialects and other languages that are out there. So then we'll call the 800 number and get assistance that way. So that's how the translation works. But I think the families that are not in the ESOL program, we also work with them. When the school calls my office and says, I need an interpreter for an IEP meeting, that's the first thing that I do. It doesn't matter if the student's ESOL or not ESOL, we are immediately try to find somebody to go out to the school and help with those kind of important meetings. But I know we still have work to do because our families are usually very shy and quiet, right? But we want to let them know that yes, they are welcomed. And I've been to schools where the administrators do an amazing job. I was in one of the elementary schools today, and you could just feel the love in that building for all students, not only for our Hispanic students, but they have a huge Hispanic population in that building, and everyone just works really beautifully with the students. So I hope that helps, but I just love the conversation and love that you guys are. So I already shared that we are having our District Parent Academy, right? Coming up in January. So you all will be getting the flyers and the invites, and I would love to see more of the PTSA families out there too supporting us, because this is a district event. It's for everyone. So more information will be coming up on that.
Ms. Cardona, is there a date? I think it's in January, you mentioned earlier, right?
January 29th. It's a Saturday, and it will be at Winter Springs High School.
Wonderful. And if you could encourage the PTA leaders that are on the call right now, or those who will listen to the future broadcasting, what is one thing that you would encourage us to do as we continue to be intentional about advancing our DEI efforts with Hispanic families in Seminole County?
And this is Rivera mentioned it, and we mentioned that in our trainings. We do a lot of parent trainings with our Hispanic families too, and it's really them feeling welcomed in the building. When they come in from a foreign country, any Hispanic country, or any of our other nationalities that we have in the building, that the students walk in, they're lost, and so are the parents. So even if we do not speak their language, because I do not speak 113 different languages, right? But just giving them a smile and just making them feel welcome, that goes a long way. And I would say when we have open house in the schools too, you could see the families coming in, and I could always tell, okay, this is one of our families that they're new. I could usually tell, I go, this is a new family. And I will be the first one just to approach. And if I'm in the building, I don't, and the administrators, they know, okay, Minnie's walking to this family. That means they're new, and they'll follow me. And I go, yes. And just saying hi, good evening. And even if and I have met other families that do not speak English, and I don't speak their language, but just with a smile. I met a Chinese family, I remember, that came into the district office actually the other day. Not a word of English, but Dad was able to draw pictures for me. And I was able to do the same thing. We went back and forth until I finally got an interpreter that came in. I actually have an ESOL Chinese teacher, and I called her. I said, are you nearby? Yes, I'm right here down the corner, Mrs. Cardona. And I said, could you come by, please, to help out? And when she came in, the parents said to her, she was over there already doing a great job. And I was able to help them just with a big smile, and just us doing a lot of hand gestures and drawings and whatever. But a big smile goes a long way, and they feel it. That's what I would say. Just welcome everyone with a big smile, and just try to show them how to walk, go to the front office. The students that come into the buildings, that's what I always tell them. Is there a buddy in the building? Is there someone that can help this brand new student? Is there someone that could help this parent? I love what Jose said. And Jose, you're absolutely right. If we have more counselors that could speak the target language, that would be another great assistance to help our Hispanic students. But I know the schools are trying their best. Everybody's really trying their best, but it's a lot of hard work.
Our Latinos in Action are also serving as guides in school. So whenever there is a family that comes in that doesn't speak the language or a student, they're called Jose or the top leaders in the class so they can guide the students and make them feel welcome. But I think that we should also, I don't know, maybe do some workshops. Maybe we could do that, Ms. Cardona, later on, for the people that are at the front office of a school, how they should have that smile that you're talking about. When in the majority of the schools that I visited, the only one that I felt welcome always was at Millennium, because the girls spoke Spanish and she always had that smile. But we have a lot of people in the front office that when the parents come in, they don't receive a smile, and that's for any kind of parent. They don't give a smile, or if the person speaks Spanish to them automatically, they roll their eyes, and that's what we're having. And or they do this kind of nonverbals that shuts parents out. So maybe we could do the workshops in terms of how that nonverbal that our parents that come from other countries need to feel welcome.
I'm so sorry to hear that. And I'll share with you, we have provided training for the staff in the front office, customer service 101. And this was something that our former superintendent was really big about, customer service, and making sure that everyone that walks into any of our buildings, parents, visitors, everyone feels welcome into that building. I will make sure that I meet with cabinet. I will reiterate this because that's very important. That person that is in the front office, the first person that any parent encounters, right? You want to feel welcomed. You want to feel part of the school. The student wants to feel part. This is my building too, right? So I'm sorry to hear that.
And not only
but
just that,
I will reiterate that we need to, and actually there's going to be a meeting coming up soon. So this is perfect timing with all the front office folks. And I will mention the person that is in charge of them. I will mention that to her.
and not only that, also the counselors. I have had it's shocking how I've gone to different counselors with some students, and I also get that nonverbal of, I already explained this to you a few times. And I'm like, you never explained it to her in Spanish. Now I'm here to translate. So that kind of demeanor that as a teacher, because counselors are teachers, if a child asks you 3-4 times, they don't understand, you explain it to them 3 or 4 times until they get it. And you cannot show that disgust feeling of, oh, I'm helping you again, it's you again. And I get that a lot from a lot of our counselors in Seminole High School. And that's why I always wanted to see but she's retiring. We wanted Ms. Williamson. I had asked to see if Ms. Williamson could be the counselor, but she's retiring. She's the only one that speaks Spanish from all the 10 counselors that we have. So I think if we have a Spanish counselor, at least in bigger schools like we have, and we have our ESOL students with that counselor, that could also help in following up with that love and that thing that we have for our kids. Because I believe that sometimes that's missing in some of our counselors. And our school is so big that they just land in whatever last name they land with, whatever counselor they get. And sometimes some of them are not that inclusive at all. So we need to work with
another important point, and I'm sorry that does happen. I will speak with our district person that is in charge of the counselors, and I do meet with them also. We have monthly meetings, and I will make sure that I address this at the next month's meeting also with the counselors, because that's very important. And not only for our Hispanic students, it's for all students. And I know our counselors do so much. I know they have a lot on their plates, but listen, a smile and helping the child goes a long, long way. And we're still in the middle of a pandemic, right? We still need, our students need us now more than ever, all students. But we're talking about our Hispanic students, and especially the students that are coming in from a foreign country, our ELL students. They're coming in with other issues. So it's very critical that they do receive that support, that emotional support that they need. because that's very critical for their academic success. So I agree with you. I will share this information with the counselors too, and try to help out any way that I can. But we're all in this together. I tell everyone, kindness and a smile will take us a long way, right? And every student should feel safe in the building, the school that they attend. And that's what I felt today. It's so funny. I just read the chat. Thank you for sharing the comments, but I was at Wicklow Elementary today. That was one of the schools that I visited, and what a great feeling. Those kids are just amazing. And the administrators and all the teachers in that building, how they feel so safe and welcomed in there. And I was at another school. I did 2 schools today, and it was the same feeling too. So I know a lot has been put in place to make sure that the students feel that way, especially during this time. But we still have a lot of work to do. We really do. So thank you for sharing that, Danisha.
Jose, I'm going to give you the honor of closing us out. We have about a minute left, but I would love for you to share with the PTA leaders, given that the theme for the Hispanic Heritage Month this year was a celebration of our heritage and our hope. Will you tell our leaders what your hope is for the future? And we're going to take that that you have in your heart, and we're going to use that to inspire us to do the work that that needs to be done, not just for you and the LEA students, but as Ms. Cardona says, for all the students that we're committed to serving. So Jose, if you would just wrap this up for us and tell us what your hope is for your future, for your family's future, for your classmates' future. And we want those words to inspire us as we continue on this advocacy journey.
Well, first off, I'm really honored, and you know, you made up for the comment you made earlier that I'm not your favorite. So now I'm no longer mad. So to, you know, go with what you said, my hopes are really to just become involved in the community with everybody. You know, there's a reason why, well, the reason I see the United States, you know, like the name United, I only see the United part. But what I mean is that we should all be united. And my hope is for the future is that we can all become one big family, and it doesn't feel like everybody is on their own groups trying to survive by themselves. I want being in the United States, you know, for people who come from other countries seeking for a better future, to feel like this is a home for everyone. I don't like that it feels like everybody is, you know, in their own classes, depending on their own heritages. I want us to all be able to, you know, get along, even if there's cultural differences, even if there are language differences. I want our schools, I want our students, and I want our teachers to all feel safe and happy that we're all here, you know, like students go to school and we go to learn, and teachers, you know, they go to teach, but there's, we were going over, me and Ms. Rivera with the class, we're going over, you know, how to be an effective teacher or tutor, because we are currently starting to tutor in Pinecrest Elementary. And we were going over some quotes on a TED Talk, and the lady said, there is no significant learning without a significant relationship, meaning that a student isn't motivated to learn if somebody doesn't care, if there's not a relationship between the teacher. So I'll say my final statement is that for the future, I hope that we can all live in harmony and, you know, a place where we can all come home. And I don't know how to close this, so do I just like say goodnight and leave, or I don't know.
We want to thank you so much before you don't leave us, Jose, don't go. On behalf of Seminole County Council, PTA, I wish to thank you, Jose, and Ms. Rivera and Minnie Cardona. Thank you, Shelley. Thank you to your executive committee for always trusting us and encouraging these DEI efforts. Truly, your commitment, your time, your dedication Please remember us, Seminole County Council PTA, in your celebrations. Include us in your conversations, right? Jose, go back and tell Leah that you met, there were about a dozen leaders on the call that care about you guys, that we're interested in learning more about what you need and how we can support you, that we're listening, that we see you, that we hear you. Please go back and tell them that. And until we collaborate next time.
There will be a next time.
Yeah. Amemos nos, let us love one another. And Jose, so that you know, Seminole County Council's PTA's mantra is united as one. So from your heart to our heart, know that.
See, I already knew that. I clearly did my research.
Clear.
And like Ms. Rivera did, said, hope, you know, I'm already excited. Honestly, I wish we had more time so I could get to know each leader here, because, you know, I like to talk a lot. But other than that, I just wanted to say that me and Ms. Rivera are like gum. You know, we'll stick on you, and yeah, we'll annoy you for a little bit.
No, it's never annoying. We are family. And so you guys know, Executive Committee, we have a student representative who wants to talk, who wants to meet our leaders at the table. So we're going to take you to that, Jose, and your other classmates. This has been amazing. We want to honor everyone's time, but this is an amazing first step. Thank you for making history with Seminole County Council PTA. Until next time, adios. Thank you, everyone.